Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Hello, everyone. Happy Black History Month.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yes. We are here at R Cube Table Talks, where we keep it real,
where we keep it relevant,
and where we keep it raw. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Marcia Tiz, and next to me I
am Pastor Kimberly Mann, your other co-host. And we are so excited that we have this Black History segment. We got our these are our regulars. Like, these are not even our guests. Like, this is our three family right here. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Solomon.
Yes, and we are super excited today to talk about history, to talk about our culture, and so let's get into it. Let's go to what's good, church.
Yes.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Again, we are excited to celebrate our culture.
Yes.
We're excited to celebrate history, because we are history.
Yeah,
you are history. And so we want to start with our What's Good Church segment, our segment where we talk all things church, things that you might not necessarily hear in the pulpit. And one of the topics that we have for today is extremely important to me.
Yes.
And I think it's important to all of us on this podcast right now. We want to be serious when we talk about our church. And I'm not even going to stick to our specific denomination. I'm going to just talk about the Christian church as a whole. When we talk about it and we're reflective on this month and the significance of this month, even though, let me just say this, our history is much more than simply a month. And we look at social justice and we look at our history as Black people, as African Americans, and we look at the church. The question is the church actually being a part of, and when I say the church, I mean the church as in all Christian people, no matter their race, their color, their creed, their ethnicity. Are they actually being a part of supporting, celebrating Black History Month, social justice, and everything that is encompassed? Are we rallying behind it as a church, as a Christian body? Or is this just simply a month, a hashtag, a t-shirt, a poster, a video, and nothing else? By the way, before we get the responses, I do want to break down, we all kind of know what history means, but I do want to break down social justice, because I think social justice is confused with civil rights and activism, and they're similar, but they are not the same thing. Yeah. When you're talking about social justice, you're talking about a person's well-being in its entirety. You're not focused simply on rights just because of their race or ethnicity or their gender, but you're talking about their well-being. So you're looking at their health. You're looking at their socioeconomic status. You're looking at their
food to eat.
Yes, whether they have food to eat. You're looking at their
healthcare, prenatal, postnatal,
their disabilities. You're literally looking at the person as a whole human being, and you're trying to establish that everyone is treated equally and treated fairly throughout their entire lives and in every way, shape, and form that we exist as human beings.
Yes.
So it is beyond simply just the color of a person's skin. It is beyond simply just their sexuality or a person's gender, but we are talking about everything. And the Bible, when we look at the Bible, it tells us that we are to look at the person holistically, and that Jesus is come for us as his creation.
Go ahead and preach
in its entirety. So I do just want to put that out there, because again, a lot of times you hear social justice and it's like
black people.
I'm okay with black people, and I think that criminal law system, it needs to be better, and like I agree with civil rights. Bro, we're beyond that. Okay,
That part.
Are you okay with living in the same zip code area, but your neighborhood has clean water, has consistent electricity, has good roads, but then if you move down to the subdivision down the street that is on Section 8, their water is dirty, their water is not clean, their roads are messed up, and you all live in the same area, the same zip code, or the same city. That's what we're looking at, right?
Exactly. But see, what society has done, it has exchanged social justice for trigger words such as woke, or trigger words such as Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
And so when you hear these trigger words, you immediately begin to go into a sense of polarization.
Right.
I'm either for it or I'm against it, which then makes you not feel like you can respond, or you think that's all social justice is.
Right.
And that's not what it is. So to your point, I wanted to say that, you know, the Black church, specifically, I want to address the Black church, has been the hub of justice, social, political, radical, racial justice for years, right? During slavery, because it's Black History Month, so we're gonna be unapologetically historically accurate.
Thank
okay?
you. Amen.
So during slavery, the Black church was the one place where slaves could go to have a moment of freedom, a moment of peace, to be able to see their children, see their spouses. My husband is at this plantation and I'm at this plantation. My kids are over there. But at church, we can be together. So church has been a place where justice has been allowed to have a more lingering effect. During the civil rights movement, the church was a place where we met, where we were able to have discussions, and where we were able to feel included. Church used to be where fraternities and sororities met. It used to be where social clubs met, because guess what? We couldn't go to anybody else's social clubs, right? Even LGBTQIA plus people, you know, over historically could not find safe spaces elsewhere, were able to find safe spaces in churches, Catholic churches. And so I just think it's so important that church not be separated from social justice or from Black history or from Christianity, because the fabric of social justice and Black history is woven with a thread of the church.
Right.
You cut the thread of the church, it falls apart.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in on that, because that speaks to what I was taught about how the AME churches, they were the ones to usher in like that sense of like community outside of what justice, that what it was doing at the time was allowing. And I think you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, you guys mentioned it, like justice as far as being, are your needs being met? Are your socioeconomic, well-being being provided for? And if it's not, then you should have a right or access to having those needs met, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess the problem is, okay, so who's obligated to, carry the weight? Like, okay, say I'm a victim of circumstance, or I was born into a family or area that I had no control over. So because of those dynamics, I'm disadvantaged. And there's a lot of people that's like that. So, okay, that's unfair. Whose responsibility is it to like level the playing field? Is it, the people that pay taxes? Is it the government's responsibility? And some people would feel like, I'm not advocating for them, but they'll say, well, I feel like I shouldn't have to carry the weight because I did or my parents did what they were supposed to do. So I'm benefiting from the fruits of their labor. And now I'm benefiting from the fruits of my labor. So if my family could do what was right and I'm doing what was right, then I shouldn't have to pay more to help people that aren't in that situation. And it's like, okay, well, is that really fair? Well, how can you make it fair? Like, do you join Black Lives Matter or different groups, activist groups, or be woke? And I'm like, I don't think that's the answer either, because their way they signs and how they protest, but like, are they really helping people? Like, are they just doing it for honks from people that's driving by to honk and simple like, yay, but are they really like, who's really helping the people that really need the help? And that's why you said, let's keep it away from our personal church. But like, that's why I'm glad at Oakwood, like, the vision is, we help people with the real problems. Like, we try to meet people where they're at. And I think individually, it really begins in, like, with you looking in the mirror. Like, the more kind I am, the more forgiving I am, the more I don't look at the person next to me when they cut me off and try to like let them know like you driving reckless and it's making me upset. Like, the more I do less of that, then I think I'm making a difference. Like, as an example for like a small way, I guess.
I believe it's all important. I believe Black history, the church, and social justice, I believe it's all important because it shows humanity. I mean, love your neighbor as yourself. So I believe we're all all our brothers and sisters keeper, and we all should come together and help each other.
But to your point, Jordan, you talked about fairness. The reality is that life is not fair. Like, it's just not fair. There's not, if you are a resident on earth, life will not be fair. There are people who are rich in California and their houses burnt to the ground just because there was a fire. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't fair. So even rich people are not exempt from fairness. And I think that if we work from the premise of social justice only matters when to make things fair, then you're always it's always gonna be an imbalance, right? But that's why I think Christianity is such an important piece of history and social justice, because Christianity is not fair. I did not deserve for Jesus to die for me. I did not deserve for him to send his son on behalf of me when I know what he did and I still can't get it right.
Amen.
It's not fair. So if I'm calling myself a Christian and then turning around and saying it's not fair for me to have to support social justice when I didn't do anything wrong, you have completely misunderstood the whole premise of Jesus and his teachings, and therefore you cannot call yourself a Christian. I know you might feel like I'm reaching, but like, you can't call yourself a Christian while also denouncing social justice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I bringing it back though, because I agree with all the points that are made, but bringing it back to the original question, I think that you can look at certain types of churches, and you can look at, like you said, look at the Black church and see what they've done for Black people. But when you look at Christianity as a whole, a lot of the ill, a lot of the injustice, a lot of the things that happen even in our history were committed by people who profess to love the Lord.
Right.
Let's just be honest. Yes. All of these things. And so then it boils down to who deserves social justice, who deserves to have a spot in history. And I think that's a problem, because Christ did not create just one type of person. He created all humankind, and we are all in his likeness, and we are all of his image, no matter how we look, no matter what our skin color is, no matter our size. But I do think that as Christians in a whole, when we look at just the entire group, that social justice and history is just, it has very negative moments that have been, and actions that have been committed by people. So I think it is important, especially during these days, that any Christian, no matter what your race, your ethnicity, your gender, anything, it doesn't matter. We all need to take in consideration the biblical principle, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because God said the two greatest commandments are these: to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah. So we are supposed to treat every human being, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done, no matter where they come from. We are supposed to treat every human being just as Christ would. I don't like some of the things that people in politics are doing. But as a Christian and as a proponent of social justice and a proponent of making history to be what God would want it to be, I have to show them the love of God.
Amen.
And here's the thing though, I don't have to be silent about correcting the unjust things that they have done to others and how they have not created an environment that is not catered to social justice either.
Yeah.
So you can speak up, you can speak out, you can advocate, but you can still love the person who you are speaking up, speaking out, and advocating to.
Right. Christianity is not silent in the face of injustice.
Correct.
And if you follow the example of Jesus, when Jesus saw injustice, he was not silent.
Nope.
And it ended up getting him crucified.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I just think that yes, Christianity, people, we get it. I mean, we are from an African diaspora. We represent an African diaspora. Christianity decimated the African systems, right? In such a way that really we are still reeling from what Christianity did to the African diaspora, right? But if I understand who Christ was and what Christ taught, I don't have to associate what they did with how I live my life.
Right.
At the end of the day, whether you are gay, trans, straight, man, woman, large, small, young, old, like, do I deserve to breathe? Yes. So then do you deserve to breathe? Yes. Do I get hungry? Yes. So does that mean you get hungry? Yes. Like, these are all basic fundamentals, and being a Christian doesn't mean that you silence yourself in the face of social injustice to say, oh, well, because people say, oh, I'm not political, or church and politics aren't supposed to meet together. Yeah, except for when those politics destroy the image of God in someone else.
Right. So let us know what you think. This is very important. We are.
Oh man, I missed the timer. Like
we're in some perilous
Don't nod your head.
times. We're in some perilous times right now, and it's very important for us to all be our brother's keeper. So I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the church, in particular Christians, in our response to social justice, our response and respect or lack of respect for Black history, for history of people of color? What do you all think about that? Let us know. Also, we want you to have these conversations at your churches, in your groups, amongst your friends and family, amongst yourselves, to keep this going, because we do need to acknowledge that we are all humans and that God has called us to love one another.
Absolutely. This was a great segment. I'm excited. Don't go anywhere. Our next segment, we're going to get in the real world. So we're talking about the real world. So don't go anywhere.
Mercy.
Go ahead and grab your glass of water, because we're going to keep talking. All right? We'll be right back.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Listen, we are back with our next segment. Go ahead and buckle up. Go ahead, buckle up. Hide your kids, hide your wife, because we getting ready to talk about what is really happening in our world. And we're talking about the Donald Trump DEI ban. And so for those of you all who don't know, upon Donald Trump's presidency, he immediately dismantled diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, programs, pretty much anything that involves diversity, equity, inclusion under an executive order that is supposed to address the mismanagement of government funding, and also in favor of merit-based, Lord have mercy, because I'm already upset.
No, yeah.
In favor of merit-based, giving the job to whoever the best person is for the job. But there are a lot of trigger words that have been associated with DEI or how DEI has been represented, because the DEI conversation has also been happening in collaboration with immigration, minority policies, minority programming. And so, yeah, that's a whole thing right now. So right now, companies like Walmart, Target, there's a whole list, just Google it, have disbanded DEI programs. The federal government has fired diversity, equity, inclusion officers. They put them on paid leave, so you don't have a job. Well, you have a job, just don't come to work. And then people who were in positions that they work for were fired because they were seen as diversity, equity, and inclusion hires. And for those of you who don't know what that means, that essentially, go ahead, Marcia, you want to break that down for those who don't know what that means?
I'm gonna let you do it. I'm like seething right now, so I'm trying to calm myself down.
So that's like I'm gonna hire Marcia for the job of production engineer, just because we need more women engineers. Even though Marcia, doesn't have a degree in engineering, she doesn't know anything about engineering, but DEI means I'm just hiring her because she's a woman and we need more women. That is the lie.
I was about to say,
I'm not saying that is the lie. That's the lie that DEI is being used to represent. All right. DEI actually is, I've looked at our company and realized that we don't have a single female working as a production engineer. Let's make sure that we allot money in our budget to ensure that we hire for every 5 male producers, we have at least 1 female producer on staff who will get paid the same amount as our male producers. That is diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is assessing the climate and making sure that everybody has an equal opportunity at the same opportunities, regardless of race, gender, religion, sexuality, and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Trump has dismantled that.
Yeah, and not only that, but as many of you all saw, he put a pause on federal assistance program. Then that got rescinded because that was insane. But the sad part about it is, though, any initiative that had to do with DEI, they have had back channel ways to ensure that those federal programs are dismantled. This completely shatters number of programs for historically Black colleges and universities. So much so, before I get into that, though, let me just say this, because this is something that I don't like. Everyone, do not speak on things that you are not educated about or that you had a bad experience with to make that the definition of the entire thing.
Thank you.
All right? So there is this, it's not even a rumor. There are these whispers and these people coming out and saying that DEI has done nothing for any community, that it was just a way for people to steal money. Nothing came out of it. It doesn't work. And I declare today on this screen that is a lie from the pits of hell. Yeah. Okay? DEI has done tremendous work in a lot of areas, specifically in the education area. I literally was working 8 months to get a trip for my students to Philadelphia to be sponsored by law schools in that area. 8 months now. I didn't say 2 days, 8 months. Literally the day in January when he declared that there was a ban on DEI, I woke up to phone calls to say my trip was completely canceled. Every single school pulled out. Not only did they pull out of my trip, they pulled out of every HBCU, Black Student Law Association, or any type of event that dealt with minority students. They pulled out every single event.
crazy.
Conferences were canceled. Trips were canceled. Symposiums were canceled in less than 24 hours. I had several friends to get fired and lose their 6-7-figure jobs from this one man calling a ban, because not only did he call a ban on federal programs, he called for private entities to do a ban. So even my friends who work for private corporations in the private sector, they were fired. It's so bad. Let's get real, because we talking about education and other people might say, well, I have my degrees. That's too bad for them. All right, folks, y'all like to go to Target. Y'all like to go to Walmart. And if you are of our color and you look like us,
They want to hire you no more.
we did not have hair products traditionally in Walmart or Target. Now you go to Walmart or Target and you have a smorgasbord of products. Well, guess
They
what?
even selling lace fronts at Target.
Guess what? We have hair stores at Walmart and Target. But guess what's going to happen to those places? They are gone.
Yeah.
All right? Literally, you can research it. Tabitha Brown put out a video talking about how her products are still in stores because she's under contract. But once that contract ends, she doesn't know. Mind you, the next thing that everybody wants to say, well, they should have had their own store and their own website and their own. Folks, these are national retailers. You're talking about millions of products. Where's the warehouse? Where's the staff? If you don't know anything about selling in retail, where's your expert in that? You're talking about something that is not easy at all. We're not talking about a mom and pop shop. We're talking about around the world. These things are even online. You could be out of the country and order these things. Yeah. So this is real and this is serious. And I just think that for one person to make this decision and there not be anybody speaking up about it in government, it's just very appalling to me. I'm done.
I agree. Like, I know one side argument would say, well, it should be about merit based. It should be how hard I work. If I worked hard, then I should be judged by like my scores, my efforts, my work ethic. Like those things should be what matters, not my skin color or my gender or sexuality or anything like that. Some people would say, well, that is making it more inclusive for people, because if I was a white man, which I'm not, I would say, well, I feel like I'm being targeted because now my scores, which I aced the test, or if I was Asian or something, or not trying to get into the race, but if my scores say I should qualify, then let that be what qualifies me. Not, oh, well, you qualify, like you score high or you have what it takes, but we already have too many Asians, too many white males, or too many. So we have to give the job or the opportunity to include or to diversify what our goals are at this moment. And
Go ahead.
Finish your thought, 'cause I got some for
I
that
feel like
too.
I'm about to attack me.
No, I'm not coming for you at all. I'm coming for that thought.
Right. So I have, like, at work, and this is where I get this from. Like I talk to my coworkers, and a lot of my coworkers are white, and I'm in the break room, and these are the things they saying. So one side of me, the Christian side, is like, well, yeah, I feel you coming from, bro, but I don't want to interject like what you guys mentioned earlier. Like there's been a struggle, like a social racial struggle since before any of this. So. With this happening, like you all don't understand like the implications that it has on other people. But
let me address. I'm sorry, Pastor Man. Let me address the thought process of merit based. That bothers me a lot, and this is why it bothers me for several reasons. Let's stick with what I know. Let's stick with the law. Okay, for those who don't know, applicants to law school that are Black and brown are at a 54% shutout rate. What does that mean? That means that if we have 1,500 white applicants and we have 3,000 Black and brown applicants, about probably 1,000 of the 1,500 white applicants will get in, and maybe 250 of the black and brown applicants out of the 3,000 will make it. That is insane. When we talk about these seats at the table, when we go back to Pastor Mann's example, the person of color, the person of another gender or sexuality are likely 10 times more qualified for the position than the person of white America, if I just be completely honest. Literally, black females are the smartest minority in the entire world, okay? And when we get to the table, we're not getting to the table just because of DEI. We should have been at the table. DEI opens the door that should have been ours.
Yes.
But what irritates me about this is the flip is okay. So is it okay, Jordan, if you come from the family of Jordans and you are Jordan the fourth, and when you go and apply for that job, Sally says, oh, you're one of the Jordans. I went to school with Jordan 1 and you're the 4th. Of course you're going to get into my company because you are Jordan the 4th. That's fine. But there's a problem with a seat, just 1 or 2 or maybe 3 that's reserved for a person that is different from
The
Jordans.
Yeah.
That's where I have a problem.
But see, people don't understand where DEI came from.
Right.
Up until very recently,
Yeah.
only white men were allowed to work. Black men were allowed to be their slaves, their bus drivers, their servants.
Shine your shoes.
Right. And black women were allowed to be your nannies and your cooks and your chefs. But like for a while, even white women couldn't work.
They weren't considered people. They were considered chattel.
So DEI opened up the door for the white woman who can do math and algebra and geometry in her brain to also work at NASA. Right? Like, this is not about black people getting a job or
Correct.
brown people getting a job. This is about someone who is qualified. Again, because DEI, they keep making it seem like, oh, we're getting rid of that plane crash, right? How that plane crashed where children died, okay? Military people died.
Right.
And blamed it on DEI hires from 2014, Obama, Biden, and the Democrats,
That
right?
is such a familiar tactic used by Trump.
Yes, to say that it was because of incompetent people
And wokeness.
and wokeness.
What does that even mean to
this
you?
happened? Not the fact that you just fired all these people from the FAA and that it was understaffed. Right? Because how many programs do we have that track people? Like, I've never heard a kid say, I want to be an air traffic controller. Like, are we exposing are we exposing people to these things? And that's what DEI does. It gives you exposure so that you can get qualified students. And the last thing I'll say, the reason why DEI is important is because if you're the Jordan family, you may have had tutors who can tutor that child who doesn't get math, right? And they can get thousands of dollars worth of help. You can pay for the score. You can go to 29 SAT prep classes so that you can get that 1,400 score,
Right.
while there is a child who is just as smart but doesn't have the resources
Correct.
to learn how to take the SAT and score high. So it looks on paper as though this person is not qualified, where this kid can do math in their brain quicker than Jordan the 4th can do math on their calculator. But you'll never get a chance to see it without there being some doors open and some seats at the table that make room for other people who don't get there the typical way.
I want Solomon for you to jump in because we've been hogging it.
No,
No,
and
I
our time is up.
mean, I agree with everything you all said. I mean, I think this DEI situation is terrible. It's horrible. I mean, I don't think we as a country or, everyday people understand, the magnitude of how this is going to affect their lives, their kids' lives. And hopefully it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, and I will say this too. Going back to your example really quick with the Jordans and the test, you got to remember who created the test. So if Jordan
the first
actually
made the
created
test.
the test. And then, of course, Jordan the fourth is going to pass. And even if Jordan the fourth has struggled, like you said, that there's those resources. If we don't have a seat at the table at all, then how can we say that the processes were fair or that this happened? And by the way, since we want to make the focus Black people when it comes to this, we are extremely educated and we have
Absolutely.
defied every
Yes.
odds. So even though the
Yes.
test is
I
for
seen
Jordan,
hidden figures.
we
That part.
literally are so gifted and talented by the grace of God that we still pass and we still end up where we need to be. But this is a very important
Yes, it is.
topic, and we want you all to just stay educated. If you do nothing else, whether you're on either side of the fence, whether you agree with us, whether you agree with Jordan, whether you're neutral like Solomon and you just want to pray for everybody, we at least want you to be educated
Yes.
about what's happening in the real world.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, I know you gotta wipe the sweat off your brow, take a sip of your water. Don't go anywhere though, because we're coming right back with our final segment, In My Feelings.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Toss it to me.
Hey, we are back.
We're back.
We want to get it all the way in our feelings. We need something more controversial, right? We just keep getting more and more controversial. But we also want it to be something that's a little less, fired up.
Yeah.
But well, maybe this might
Light
get fired
topic.
up too. You said what now?
A light topic.
Yeah. Well,
No, this ain't a
I
light
mean,
topic.
I mean,
You know,
yeah, but
This
but
ain't
yeah,
light at all.
Yeah. Lighter than the first. So we are. Yes, you saw the title correct. I mean, even our producer said, "Wait, are you sure that's what you said?" Yes, we are. We are talking about whether it's okay. It is okay for your mom and your dad or your grandma even and your granddad. But we're sticking with parents. Is it okay for your parent to date your classmate, schoolmate? What do you say? Is it okay for your mom or your dad? By the way, my in-laws are married, amen. But let's say they weren't.
Yeah.
Your mom or your dad to date your schoolmate.
I think that's kind of weird. That's sick. It's kind of foul. I wouldn't. I don't think that's good. But
I mean, is it love?
It's giving.
no, not at all. I think there's stipulations
It's
attached to
giving
it.
creep.
I mean, I think there's a motive. I mean, if my parent is dating my friend, I mean, I think there's a motive there.
What
There's
type of
some
motive?
kind of
It's giving
psychological something
Oh, no.
going on.
Something going on psychological?
Oh, for sure. There's definitely something wrong.
I mean, what if they just, they met them, they felt like they were a nice young man or young woman. They want to
This sounds like a
Midlife
they
TikTok
want to
story.
have
Midlife.
I seen a
crisis.
movie like that.
This definitely is giving Lifetime.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I believe it's midlife crisis. I
mean,
think it's
but
weird.
what about Stella? She got her groove back. So why can't your parents get theirs?
Stella
Yeah.
got her groove back with a random young man she met on a random island on a random vacation.
So it's the randomness?
It is, yeah.
Not the person who I brought home from school on Christmas vacation and you took us to Chuck E. Cheese when we was kids and now all of a sudden you're like, they looking good now. No, that's and I'm not coming to the wedding. Don't invite me because I can't subscribe to that. That's giving biblical.
I mean, I'm not
Dating
mad at it,
vibes.
honestly. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Amen. Praise God.
I can't call
don't.
this person mom or dad or nothing.
I mean, no, I ain't doing that. No,
I mean,
you're gonna be you on a first name. I'm not even address you by your. If I do address you by your last name, I'm not putting Mr. In front of that. Like you're gonna be Johnson or you're gonna be you're gonna be Bill. Like we're gonna be on a name basis. But I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do, I personally don't have a problem with it. Will it be weird? Yeah, of course it'll be weird. But I mean, that's not my business. That's
there's
your
got to be a
business.
timeline. Like it can't. There's got to be like I have to be a senior citizen. And you have to be an octogenarian. Like we gotta be grown, right? The only way that's okay is like I graduated from high school 30 years ago, and they're like 55, and my parent is like
70.
No, that's way too young. No, they're like 80. 75, 80, because they.
55-year-old?
You was young.
No, it's
Wow.
It's got to be a
That's
long
even weirder. I
way.
mean, I
to
could see 30s and 50s. I mean, 30s and 60s. You know, they're in their late, or they're like 40. Well, because I mean, and it also depends on their parents. Some people had their kids really young. So some people had their kids at like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So if you like 40 and my mom is 60, y'all want to get down, hey, that's between y'all. God, I don't care.
I'm telling you, the only way it works is if they 50, my parent is 80, because we gonna run this thing. They're getting ready to die in like 20 years, 10, 15 years.
This is even worse.
Then you get in the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want them in the wheel.
And then we could all go to Bali together. Like we cool.
No,
but like not on some you really in love. That's now we have a problem.
No, now if you do date my parent and we're schoolmates, bruh, you gotta like have it together. Like I don't got time for you. You don't have your life together. You gotta have your life together.
Not your best friend broke your mom's heart.
No, that's
Like
terrible.
that's
Like
a
a-
no.
You gotta have your life together.
So the movie that I saw, it was they weren't in like their 20s. They were like, so it was they were in college, and the student met the professor at an event. Like, it was like a tech, like MIT or something. They was at this event, and they were learning about this new software, and then they met at some conference, and then come to find out after they hit it off that that's my teacher, that's my professor.
I know what
and the age bracket, they were like older. They weren't like early 20s. They were like 30s, like 30, 40s. But it just, the way that they scripted the movie, right? It made it like believable, where it's like, I see how this is weird, but I guess with the situation, the circumstance, and how it all happened, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't want like you working at the car wash, or like working like as a bagger at a grocery store, and you 40 and you trying to date my mom that's like 60 making like 7 figures and like got together. I don't want that scenario. Like if you 40 though and you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, you know, you don't have no kids, like cause she don't need to, she's raised kids. She don't need to raise nobody else's kids. You don't got no kids and y'all want to hit it off. I don't care.
There's no way. Like I went to school with you. I saw you in the hallway. I cannot see you in my. I can't see you in my parents' bedroom. Like no. So I'm gonna have to. I don't got to call DCFS or whatever they call on the people.
But y'all grown.
Yeah, what we
y'all grown.
Grown.
You do what you want to do. I don't, just leave me out of it. Like I'm not.
But that's the thing. If it's a friend or a schoolmate, there's no way for you to be out of it. They bringing your mom to the high school reunion.
1000%.
Wait. What? No. So that is a thing though. But I will say this. I don't think I would want them to be my friend, because that would make it like weirder. But if we're just schoolmates or whatever,
yeah, we didn't really
that's
talk.
fine. Yeah,
I mean, what do you got to do with that?
I went to Adventist school. I know all y'all. There is
too. I know all y'all
no
too.
way. No. And I just think that this is one of them situations where I'm gonna pray for you all.
Absolutely.
And that's all I got. I mean, we know that people who are older get with people who are younger.
All
so
the time.
it happens all the time.
But see, it's such a hypocrite when it comes to the sexes too. Cause like men do it all the time.
I don't agree with that either.
Men in their 60s date women in their 40s, and you could have went to school with them, and that's fine. But if it's reversed, and the mom does it, then it's like, yo, that's creepy. No, that's wrong. If it's gonna be creepy, it should be creepy for everybody.
They people
And
close to
is.
your own age. If it's like 5-7 years, that's fine. But you talking about 12, 13, 15,
5-7.
20.
If it's 5-7 years, that means that your mama was in kindergarten. Like the time frames
5-7
there.
years is not
What if I
terrible.
like them older? What if I prefer
How
an
much
older
older?
woman?
There's nothing
I
wrong with an
don't
older
know.
woman. If the
Go
older
to-
woman's like
Go to
75
Kroger
years
during senior
older, that's
hour.
fine. We
Like,
talking about like 25.
Sam's
Yeah,
Club
that's
has
a lot.
senior shopping
People do
hours.
it.
Go meet you a
I know
nice
people do it.
person.
I'm not trying to
People
rob the
do it.
grave.
during the senior
I mean,
time.
but seriously, like if somebody's 45 and then like my mom is like 65 and she looks like she's like 45, 50 because black women
You know what I'm
age
saying?
very well.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, don't
Wow.
nobody know what you're saying.
Because
No.
certain things that need to be up and working and active, it flips for women anyway. So it'll all work out.
It will not. If you get in the
And you gotta worry
AARP
about
car,
pregnancy.
if you get in the AARP car,
Exactly.
you know what? I'm done. And
Yeah.
so our time, because we literally went over on the last segment, so
Hey.
we gonna wrap this up. Listen,
Get y'all groove back on if you want to, amen. And children, just close your eyes. Close your eyes.
it is giving.
Oh, I will
It
close
is
my
giving
eyes.
relationships of biblical proportions. And so
No,
that's real though. That's real. Look at the Bible. Look at
what I'm saying?
Mary and Joseph. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
Just
another
saying.
topic. I mean, people
that
back
is
then should
definitely
not
another
do
topic
that.
for
bring that
another
one up, though.
day.
There was some
I think that's a
pedophiles
good-
back in
that's
the
a
Bible
good- that's a
days.
good-
There was some pedophiles.
Oh Lord, not pedophiles.
We cannot put Mary and
That's
Joseph
sick.
and pedophiles in the set. All right, everybody, listen.
Like-
This has been
that's a different
a
conversation.
segment
It's okay.
for the
What's-
books.
We
what's-
told y'all in
Okay.
2025 we coming in hot, and this
Oh,
it gets better and
my
better.
goodness, betterer and betterer. Okay, do I sound like a DEI hire? So I
Don't make me
just,
choke.
I just
Oh,
wanted to
mercy.
say that. But all right, guys, we're so excited. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for this segment. Listen, we want you to like, we want you to subscribe, we want you to share, we want you to comment, talk about it in the chat. Talk about it with your peers. Talk about it at church. We want to continue to have these dialogues, and we're so glad that you tuned in to our 3 Table Talks,
Where we keep it real.
where we keep it relevant and where we keep it raw. Till next time.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.